Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Gaming After Dark. It is good to be back. Sorry about last week. Obviously, I had to kind of put the show on kibosh. Had so much stuff on the go with my new house movement and whatever. But I'm proud and happy and super excited to be back this week. We got a great show for you coming up right here because it's not only am I here, boom, boom, kaboom, Mr. Noof Nukem is in the room, but I'm also joined with my lovely co-host, the amazing
Primal Eve.
That's right. Primal's in the house. You know it's going to be good. Hey, and just to add a little texture and a little flavor to this podcast, we got everybody's favorite salty man is here. Yes, Saltiest Gaming, my good buddy, is here with us tonight, and can't wait to hear what some of his perspective is going to be on some of the topics we're about to get into. But it should be a lighthearted show, a lot of fun. We're happy to be here. Salty man, thanks for being here, brother. How have you been? What you been up to?
Been good, man. I pre-show we were talking about this. It feels like a time warp, right? I'm in my house with my kids. It's like full of girls, right? It's just me and my dog are the only males in the house. Lots of estrogen going around. But at the same time, it's heating up here in Arizona. I don't think it's to the point where we can cook some eggs on the sidewalk yet, but it was like 105 degrees Fahrenheit here. Yeah. So it's getting pretty toasty, man. I wish I could go swimming, but they're kind of easing up some of the restrictions. Right. So hopefully we'll be doing that soon, you know?
So, Salty, how has that been going for you, man? Like, have you learned anything new? Because, I mean, obviously, you're now getting a chance to spend, like, a lot of time with your family in that isolation. And we're hearing, you know, through the news, social media, you're hearing lots of great stories about how people are passing the time. You're also starting to hear some of the bad stuff. Like, some people are ready to kill each other. They're ready to file for divorce, hear about domestic dispute. So how have you guys been managing?
Man, I mean, there's good days and bad days, right? But I have a good wife and good kids. Like I said, sometimes if we need a break, we'll just get in the car and kind of drive around the block or something. You kind of get outside. But yeah, like my baby, she's growing up, so she's like starting to walk and stuff. So there's, like I said, there's good times and there's bad times for sure, but we're not to the point where we're like filing divorce. Good. Well, I saw that and lots of like skyrocketed in China, right? So yeah, afterwards, yeah.
Yeah, yesterday was May the 4th. I thought I put up a pretty good joke on Twitter. How do you know when your woman's a Star Wars fanatic? It's when you're going down on her. She says, "Stay on target, stay on target."
Yeah, I saw that. That was awesome, dude.
Prom, how about yourself? You ready to choke your kid yet, or are you guys still doing okay?
So far, so good, because I am still working full time, and they just announced for her school that it's going to be done for the year, so she's a little sad about that. I have no idea what they're going to do with the grading system, and I don't think they do either. But yeah, no, I've been spending some time with her. We're both very much into art, so we've been working on some art and played Delivery Service, or with the newest one that came out on Game Pass. It's kind of like Overcooked, but you deliver packages, and that was kind of fun and cute.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I've kind of social distanced myself from social media lately, just to kind of take a break and not fucking read about everybody's stupidity. But yeah, so far life really hasn't changed that much for me, to be honest. I'm still doing the same shit. I'm still an introvert playing my games. Like there really hasn't been a change that much.
Yeah, for me, my life hasn't changed that much either. Like you said, people say you find out how much of a social reject you are, or how much of an antisocial person you are when you basically look up and go, "Yeah, my life didn't change very much."
Right. I know. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? But I'm definitely enjoying all the new people hopping on some of these games for multiplayer, though. You can tell there's some fresh faces, and I love it.
As everybody probably in the chat and on the panel, as I've been obviously busy with the move out and stuff, I'm glad to be back this week. Managed to get the internet set up. It's not perfect. I'm still going to have to get the technicians back in to do a couple of things in the future here when everything gets back to normal, or as normal as it's going to get. But at least I'm back. Podcast is back. That's fantastic. But speaking of moving, has anybody, just curious, has anybody tried that new little indie game that came out? It's called Moving Out, because that actually looked a lot of fun, and it kind of made me laugh because it kind of dropped right around the time that I was moving into this place, and you're like moving couch. It kind of reminds me of Overcooked, but with furniture.
Yeah, that's the game. I don't know why I said Delivery Service. I think that's a different game. But the Moving Out game, it's fun. It's cute. I have a horrible competitive side, and I was determined that my daughter and I would beat it day one, like all in one day. And we stayed up until maybe 2 or 3 o'clock trying to defeat it, and she said she was tired, and I said, "No, you're not." Like it got ugly for a little while until we.
You don't let your kid go to sleep. Fuck you! You're staying up playing this.
But the only downside on that is that it's not online multiplayer; it's couch co-op.
Yeah. Before we find out what everybody's been up to and playing, let's give a big shout out to the amazing chat who are here with us tonight. We got Cyber Gunter is in the house, brother. Well, thanks for being here. Back from the dead, Timothy Dixon, Spider-Man 356, Fanatical Gamer, Rectangle, Starbuck Unlimited, Jago Cookin is in the house. G-Man 1172 is here. He says he's getting naked. We got Avish in the house as well. So, guys, thank you for being here. Greatly appreciate it. Shout out to the Retro Renegades. They had a fun podcast on earlier this evening. They had Lord Cognito there. They had a great talk. As always, they're talking games and how they got into stuff and all that stuff. Alex Bash is here. He's not too late. Crazy Greek Dude is in the house. Dreadpool dropping in. So let's get over. I'll find out from the chat as well, guys. Feel free in the chat to put down what games you've been playing, what you've been keeping busy with, because God knows we've had most of us anyway, probably had a little bit more time on our hands than we thought we would have this time of year. Crazy Greek Dude, he's been busy flooring. So it sounds like he's been renovating. Salty, we'll start with you, man. What game in particular has been keeping you occupied or games lately?
Dude, I've been bouncing around from game to game. So last night I got back into Assassin's Creed Odyssey, trying to get the combat down. For some reason it wasn't clicking with me. And I changed the controller layout to like make I think it's A. I switched around X and A, like the dodge button and stuff, and that seemed to have helped. So I'm going to try to get back into that because everybody loves that game, and I don't know why. It's just sometimes the combat just doesn't click with you. Do you guys like that game?
Yes.
Okay.
It's okay, but the open world aspect of Assassin's Creed, plus the fact that in Odyssey you don't even have your little blade up the arm anymore, which kind of pissed me off.
It's like the spear or whatever. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't like even an Assassin's Creed to me. I was more in it for like the story, even because I'm huge on mythology, but it didn't feel like Assassin's Creed at all.
No.
To me. It was fine.
No.
I enjoyed it as a game as a whole. The further you get into it, the more it'll probably like hook on and stuff, and there's some good laughs and good moments in it too.
Yeah, so I literally have a list that's a mile long. I don't know, it's because I sometimes get gameplay and then I sometimes look at my list of games and I have so many in my backlog because of Game Pass and whatever, right? So I look at them and I'm like, okay, I don't want to play that. I don't want to play that. So some nights I want to play a game and some nights I won't. So I played Cuphead and remembered how ass breaking that game is. It is brutal, bro. I beat it, but then I went back and played it on. Oh my god, dude. That game, been playing Warzone. That game, that's like my multiplayer game. Did some Last of Us multiplayer, some God of War, trying to platinum that. What else, man? Just playing all kinds of games, man. Just trying to get into Final Fantasy VII Remake, right?
Yeah. So no matter how many times you play that God of War, because I think I started my third playthrough already. The game just continuously I'm stopping in my jaws like, damn, this game is so good.
I'm gonna actually find a way to get a copy.
So fucking good in that game. I think I picked my copy up for like $14. That's about my second or third copy of the game now.
Jeez. Like I said before, I stopped.
Newfonomics.
So I don't know why I dropped off. I was just like, oh, I know why. Because my ex was playing the third one and he wouldn't let me.
Kratos is not showing her dick, so I'm out of here. Could you imagine like Kratos like doing a porn or something like that?
I'd watch it.
Just like when he gets that, all of a sudden he gets that rage, when you hit the rage buttons, like, he just rips the girl open like he rips open those the droggers. You get pissed off. Oops, a little too far, boy. Kratos pole dancing and Starbuck United. I'm sorry, I think I said Unlimited. I don't know where the fuck you're the second or third person I've added letters to in the name. So Starbuck United. Apologize for the name, but glad you could be here. Matt Burns, Crazy Greek Dude is in the house. Who else we got going on? Buck Roger is here as well. Avish, yeah, good crew. So what you been playing, Primal?
I've been playing Apex. I'm obviously like extremely excited about the new season and new character coming up on May 12th. But now I've kind of, I still haven't beaten Final Fantasy VII. I'm kind of, I don't know why. Sometimes when I feel like I'm close to beating a game, I stop because I don't want it to end type thing.
Yep.
And then I picked up Kingdom Hearts 2 again because I left it alone. I want to try and get through those. But yeah, so far nothing. Oh, I did try. I saw that you were playing, is it Deliver Me to the Moon? Is that
yes, Deliver Us the Moon. I won that courtesy of Mark Pones and the publisher, and fucking fantastic little game. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I tried.
Probably about, it's not that long. I suppose you can beat it probably about 5-6 hours, depending on how much exploration I guess you kind of do through the game, or how fast you're at some of the puzzles. And God knows me and puzzles.
I know. I'm shocked you even played it. I was like, I had to do a double take when I saw what you were playing. I was like, wait a second, what is that?
But it was fun. I enjoyed it. It was something really weird and intriguing. I just couldn't put it down. I wanted to get through it, and the graphics looked good, and it felt like a really good sci-fi movie. Like kind of like that one with what do you call it? It kind of reminded me a little bit of that one that had Tom Hanks and Sandra Bullock from a few years back.
Apollo 13?
Not Apollo 13, the other one.
Tom Hanks and Sandra Bullock?
It was Tom Hanks, wasn't it? And Sandra Bullock.
I don't know.
Space station blows up.
No, was it Russell Crowe and Sandra Bullock?
No. Sandra Bullock and Tom Hanks.
Sandra Bullock's getting around, man.
Wait a second.
Was it Tom Hanks or?
No, I'm pretty sure it's Tom Hanks and Sandra Bullock, but I can't even remember.
I don't think they've ever been in a film together, dude. I don't know. I'm not a film.
You guys,
expert.
Anybody in the chat, the one. Help me out.
I'm looking this up. I whipped out the phone. I'm doing it.
Somebody got to know. Use the old Google search here. I'll have to ask Alexa. Fuck the people from the house.
Tom Hanks was with the volleyball in Survivor or whatever that movie is.
Wait, wasn't Tom Hanks in Apollo 13?
Yeah,
he was. Yeah,
so
but
he's
been
you're getting them mixed.
No,
Sandra Bullock was in Speed with Keanu Reeves.
That doesn't help this.
Hang on. I know I'm gonna find it.
What was
here.
that movie with her as like a undercover? She was like dressing up as a runway person.
Miss Congeniality or something.
Miss Congeniality. Yeah, I'm going off topic here. Sorry.
No, I know. I'm trying to. What was the name of the movie? Was it Gravity?
Gravity. That sounds familiar with Tom. George Clooney. Yeah, it's close, right? No, it's not.
Gravity. Oh, my bad. There you go. He's grabbing George Clooney. Yeah,
George Clooney.
I wish it was Tom Hanks. I'm not a big fan of George Clooney. Oh fuck.
Wasn't he Batman at one point?
He was.
Oh my god, dude.
Gravity. Yes, that's it. Sorry, guys. Yes.
Uma Thurman was Poison Ivy, maybe it was Val Kilmer. Shit. Sorry.
Val Kilmer was Batman Forever. That was Uma Thurman.
I'm trying to remember which ones were.
Which one was George Clooney?
George Clooney was the last one, Batman and Robin. Remember had Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh my god, the even worse.
Yes.
Even worse. Yeah. Everybody freeze.
Come on, Batman. I'm gonna put you on ice. Everybody freeze. Right?
Well, I don't know. Are you guys worried about fucking what's his name being Batman?
Mr. Sparkle.
Yeah.
What's his name? From the vampire movie. Pattinson. There you go.
Yeah, Robert Pattinson. Yeah.
There you go.
Let's get to the chat. Michael Monkey Punch Lugo's in the house. Atrocity Nights. What's going on, man? Have you ever seen Happy? Is that TV show, the cop and the fucking puppet or whatever the hell it is?
Stapler from SVU. That's Christopher. Christopher
Nolan. No, I'm just kidding.
Supersonic is in the house. What's going on, Supersonic? Thanks for being here, brother. Great show earlier on Retro Renegades. Sathius is here as well. What's happening? All right. Well, I've been playing, guys, Final Fantasy VII Remake. That's right. I think it was a big reason I went back out and picked up another PS4. I'm not very far in it yet, but I've been absolutely friggin' enjoying it. So it's pretty cool. While I play, very fluid. So can't wait to get back to that. I'll probably play a little bit of that later on. And I'm trying to get through Streets of Rage 4 too. That game is a fucking bitch. Those damn cop dudes with those fucking shields pissing me off.
Yep.
I wish there was a block button in that. That's the only thing. But then again, I guess it wouldn't be quite Streets of Rage. But yeah,
I agree with all the things you just said. I played Streets of Rage too. I played it all, man. I'm telling you. I've been around.
Yeah, I actually technically I won it on Retro Renegades before they show, but I gave it back to him because I already have it. But I bought my copy. Yeah, I know it sounds weird, right? I went out and bought my copy off Xbox Live for $30-something when I could be playing it technically for free in Game Pass. Yeah, it's new phenomenons for you people. I do things the hard fucking way. Trust me.
So, Noof, did you play Final Fantasy back in the day, like any of them?
No. The first Final Fantasy game, believe it or not, that I actually ever played was Final Fantasy 15.
Hey, same with me. Same with me, man. I tried the demo. Yeah. And
I
then
didn't have PlayStation back when Final Fantasy was pop. I had Sega Saturn, and I just didn't care for it because I didn't like turn-based RPGs. So I just anything that had turn-based RPG elements, I was like, fuck this shit.
So anyway, like I was kind of clueless, and I streamed that game, and luckily there's people like Biggie and some other people that have played it, or I would have been lost because like there's materia, it's like those gem things you get, and like you have to slot them a certain way. Like if you slot them with another gem, like elemental, will, like light your sword on fire. Right. You have to use. It's very like intertwined and complex. So like. Maybe, I don't know if you have any questions with it so you don't get frustrated or like you have the best experience because there's way to like increase your healing so where it heals all your teammates and like you can learn moves and put them on different weapons. There's lots to that game. And if I didn't have the help, I probably would have fell off of the game, if that makes sense, because I got kind of lost.
Yeah, no, I definitely the tutorial they gave was like a 1-page, 2-second thing. Yep. So it's kind of like it's almost that they assumed that people who have played Final Fantasies previously would already know what to do. So I do think maybe they should have given a better tutorial. But once you get it, it's a pretty simple system, and it's kind of badass. But
I'm just trying to learn the combat mechanics now. But I do like the free flow and feeling more like your regular action game. And that's what I liked about Final Fantasy 15. It kind of if you're a fan of those style RPGs, it kind of got you into that. And that was good because I've always been intrigued with the stories and the characters and the settings of Final Fantasy. I just never wanted to play because I'm not a fan of that. Sit back, tell the guy to attack, then go block, then attack, and wait and see what the fuck happens. That just never drives with me, right? It's too much like an RTS game then.
It's great because they do have that option, though, to make it more of a turn-based for people who do like the slower pace and stuff, which I thought was cool. But I totally went with the fast-paced one. For a second, I was kind of playing it like a hack and slash, and I wasn't watching my health at all, and I kept getting my ass kicked for a while. But once you get the defense system down and changing your characters around and stuff, it's pretty good.
Yeah, some of the dialogue right off the get-go between Cloud and what's the other, Barrett?
Barrett. I love Barrett.
Let's give a shout out again to the chat. We're going to get right into the topics. The blue ones in the house. Wild Bates is here as well. Born Distracted. What's happening? G-Man still hanging out with us. Yo! Who else did I miss here? Blue Moon FC. We got the blue one. Buck Roger, Matt Burns. Good crew, guys. Thanks for being here. Greatly appreciated. 26 awesome cats watching the show right now. And again, proud and pleased to have Salty back on here. It's been a couple of weeks. So I know you've been trying to get me on your show. Salty just hasn't been working out, but hopefully soon, brother. Hopefully soon.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let's get into the first topic. Obviously, lots of speculation, sort of big news kind of dropping this week, and I don't know what the fuck's going on, but Inside Xbox, I guess, is coming out on Thursday, and it seems like for the first time, we're going to see some meat and potatoes, maybe some Xbox Series X footage, maybe some titles coming out for that, some third-party stuff, maybe some exclusive stuff. I don't know. So I guess we won't know until Thursday is over, but yeah, I'm excited about it. I can't wait. I think this will definitely be the most intriguing and possibly one of the best Inside Xbox shows in a while. But again, I keep my expectations tempered because we all know what that's like with Microsoft. You get excited and they do a show and you're like, what the fuck? I just spent a half an hour of my life I'll never get back watching some boring ass shit. So I'll start with the guests. I'll start with my co-host first because she can't stay too long tonight, guys. She gotta get some sleep. So Primal, what do you think we're going to see on Thursday from Microsoft?
I hope this is what I hope. Because this is something like we've all been kind of like waiting for, is with all these new acquired studios, are we getting some IPs? Like what's going on? I want to see what it is that they invested so much into. What are we getting from all that investion.
Right.
I don't know, just make up a word. That's all I want to see. I want to see the games. It's time for that. I don't want to hear any more about specs. I don't want to hear any more about whatever.
Right.
Give me the games.
Do you think it's going to be all third-party stuff, or do you think Microsoft will actually release the hounds on one of their studios?
Honestly, from history, we're going to get all third-party shit, and then maybe a little glimmer, maybe like a 3-second clip of something that could be. Yeah.
Microsoft is basically like that tease back in school, just hauls out enough to show some pubic hair, but never gives you the full enchilada, right? You're like, everybody got bush, but I want to see the goods. Salt, my friend, give us your take on this. I know you've been following this shit closely.
Yeah.
What do you think Microsoft's going to drop Thursday?
All right, so Aaron, they love to set expectations for these Inside Xbox. So Aaron Greenberg tweeted this out, right? He said, common questions. Thursday show will be under an hour. June news will be done differently than the Inside Xbox show. July is the big E3 show, right? So based off of what they said, this has got to be a majority of third party. Man, how much new footage will we actually see? I'm not sure, because the way that they're talking about it's kind of like I don't know. It's trying to set your expectations. That's why I put out like kind of a funny tweet. Don't get too high for this one, because it feels like they're kind of ramping up. So you have this show, right? That's third party stuff. It's going to be under an hour. I don't know how long they're going to talk or whatever, because Inside Xbox, they usually like to put some cringe in there sometimes, you know. So they got to fill it up with like 30% cringe, and then we'll go 70% games. But third party for sure. I doubt there's going to be any new first party stuff. Maybe some stuff that we've already seen, right? Some Ninja Theory, like maybe some Hellblade stuff or something, but definitely nothing new. I don't expect any new first party stuff. And then you're going to go another, like he was talking about, some more stuff sprinkled in there, and then July is the big time for everybody. That's the E3 for them. So like the Fables and the Perfect Darks and all this other rumor stuff that's out there, that's when you're going to see that stuff. So like everybody's kind of overhyping this in a sense, because it's like the first main thing that we're getting. But like I said, this is more of like, hey, this is some third party stuff running on the Series X. Look at how good it looks, right? So
yeah, that's what Drew Zilm, Spider-Man in the chat, they're basically saying. They've kind of stated it's mostly a third-party showcase. At least we'll see a couple of new games. Hopefully it's not all games that we currently, like, we know Cyberpunk's coming. We've seen a bit of footage of that. But I would like to see, I would love to see some footage of Cyberpunk and what it looks like on the Series X. Some of those games that could potentially be a great showcase for the potential and the power of this new console. So, like I said, I'm keeping my expectations reserved here.
Well, they have third-party marketing deals with some pretty big games, right? Cyberpunk 2077, probably get some new footage there. We haven't heard anything from Elden Ring, so that's a potential there. The new Assassin's Creed Valhalla, they'll definitely probably show off some stuff there, because they have a third-party marketing deal with that. So there's good games. I mean, you're going to see new stuff, but it's not going to be like a lot of surprises, I don't think, right?
Invaders in the house. What's up, Invader? Thanks for stopping by, man. Joe Dunmore, thanks for being here. Happy belated birthday to you, sir, and happy upcoming birthday to Saltiest, who's going to be celebrating it on May 7th. So, Saltiest, hopefully we'll be able to catch up with you then on the 7th. Hopefully it's a good day. Either which way, any news at this point is exciting. We're all kind of sitting home chomping at the bit. I don't think it's going to be a show to end all shows. A little teaser, get us going, and it's about time. Like I said, the one that I'm chomping at the bit to really see is Halo. I want to see some Halo footage, but I know they're going to keep that on tight wraps until, they are ready to show it off. I know Microsoft really wants to blow the doors off things, but I guess I got a bigger question for you two. Do you guys think Sony is going to pull a typical Sony move on Thursday and pull the rug out from under Microsoft with a surprise whatever the fuck, because it seems to happen a lot?
Adapter?
It wouldn't surprise me. Probably. Do you think they might do anything?
I would kind of be disappointed if they didn't. because it's almost expected now. So yeah, I think they might do something.
Another logo or something,
right?
Yeah, another logo.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Mark Cerny's going to announce his OnlyFans account.
Hey guys, I would like to update you guys and make sure you get those ear pictures into us soon, okay? Salty, how about yourself, man? Do you think Sony might try to pull sort of a special announcement out of the hat come Thursday?
They might do something small, like I don't know, some kind of announcement, but this is like more third party stuff. So
right,
I don't. They have, it was trending. Maybe, man, they love to do it, but I don't know what they would do. Like Primal was saying, like a charge kit or some shit, like some weird thing that starts trending. Yeah.
Speaking of logos and things, not to go too far off a topic, but I might as well drop it in. I didn't have it in the topics, but I guess the Xbox Series X startup screen or sound was sort of put out there. Did any of you guys catch that? And did it resonate at all?
I did see it. I think it's clean. You know what I'm saying? Like it's different, which is good. Like when you're buying these next gen systems, you want something new and fresh. So like with the Xbox One X, they had a new load screen, right? I believe, but it wasn't like completely new. And then they're going with like different color schemes almost. It's like a black and white, or like it's different. They're kind of moving away from the greenish, but I do like it. It's clean, I think it's good.
Primal, did you catch it at all?
I did not catch this at all. That was
okay. So it's nothing to get excited over. It's it's the Xbox Series X, or just says, I think it just says Xbox. It's just like a big white Xbox, and it has this fucking sound effect that reminds me of was it THX when it used to come on your movies, like and it kind of does give me a little bit of a goosebump, because it has that sound effect, like get ready for some fucking for some amazement here. If it is what I hopefully I watched. I'm assuming we watched the same one, Salty, then.
Yeah, we did.
That really cool music. Yeah, like everybody knows when you watch those movies, you used to have the THX, especially if you had a good sound system at home, and that shit you'd come up on your screen like
surround sounds.
Right? Yeah. So I like it. It's better than the shoot, that we've had for the Xbox One for so long. So
it does sound like the THX thing. Yeah, man.
I think one of the corniest ones always, it was kind of the cutest and corniest at the same time intro probably was the GameCube. Anyone agree with me that
I like that one. I liked it.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was cute but corny. Like it was, but I like the way the little blocks would jump into the G.
Yep.
The lunchbox console. But anyway, don't want to get too far off topic. Like, I don't give a fuck. It's an entry screen. Like, we're going to see it for 2 seconds.
It's what gets you going. It's that foreplay. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's what gets you going. So, like I said, we'll find out after Thursday, and we'll have more reaction, obviously, to what goes down on Thursday. But let's get into one that definitely has been making some noise. We finally got to see at least a CGI trailer of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I've been actually just going and watching that show Vikings, so I'm a little more excited than I probably would have been normally. And of course, after seeing God of War and what they did with the Norse mythology, this definitely gives me a sense of, I think I might reinvest in the Assassin's Creed franchise. I was getting a little burned out, even with Odyssey and Origins, which felt very similar to each other in a certain aspect. But Primal, did you get a chance to watch the trailer?
Did. It was really hard to avoid, even though I haven't been on Twitter or Facebook as much at all. I have buddies of mine that kind of fill me in on shit. And that's absolutely, it gets me excited. I'm also a huge Assassin's Creed fan, so this is like a no-brainer for me.
You like the big burly bearded man, eh?
Oh my gosh, yes. I'm pretty sure I've said this before. If anybody knows Game of Thrones, I want to be Khal Drogo, over and over and over.
Salty, if you were single, bro. If you were single.
But it's definitely it's something to look forward to now. I haven't really had anything that was like, yes, I need that now. Besides like the little blips of Diablo 4, which is what I'm really, really waiting for. But no, it's definitely something to be excited about now.
So do you think with this game we'll see some of the obviously stuff that's the lore they ask? Because I know with Assassin's Creed, most of those games have always been sort of grounded in history, and we saw with like Assassin's Creed Origins had fucking alien shit in it. And Assassin's Creed Odyssey had the Cyclops and Medusa and a few things like that in it. So are you expecting that sort of to come into play with this Valhalla?
Yeah, sure as fuck hope so. I'm really deep into different lores, and the first 800 Assassin's Creeds were a little tiring out because it was a little bit more of the same. I didn't actually get a chance to play Origins. I'm not so sure what happened there. But Odyssey, I absolutely love. It's definitely one of my favorite ones. That one and Black Flag. That one also kind of went in the lore too, and they were all kind of together. So I really do hope they keep up with this trend that they have going on. It's working for me.
How about yourself, Salty? Anything strike you from that particular trailer? Does it get your interest going on Assassin's Creed? I know a lot of people are mixed on this franchise. Some people love it dearly. Some people are kind of burned out. Some people love the open world. Some people do not. So what's your take on this particular one?
All right. So I think it's a natural human thing to connect to things that, I don't know, my ancestors are from there. I have Viking blood and stuff, hence the beard or whatever.
Oh,
so Norse mythology and stuff, that I click with that, right? Odin and, Thor and all this stuff. So that's why God of War really hit home with me and stuff like that. So I really get into mythology anyway. But when it comes to Assassin's Creed, I got kind of burned out of the traditional one. So I didn't have a problem with them changing to open world. I love the Egyptian setting. I actually beat that game. But with Odyssey, it was almost too much too soon, because I think it was a year after Odyssey came out. I don't know. It's pretty short,
right? Yeah,
right?
it was like, whoa.
So, and if you look at the setting almost, because they had the architecture for the buildings, you go to different places in Egypt, it's not all dirt buildings and stuff. There's different places in there that actually look similar to Odyssey. There's a lot of differences, but you could get burned out there. And then, there's a lot of different changes, but I feel like with this one, it's hardcore different, the way the people are looking, or the axes they have in the mythology. I'm super excited about it. Plus, when he was on the battlefield, he said that Odin was with them, and Odin was standing by a tree, I think. So I don't know if they're going to just go balls to the wall. Hey, this is screw everything else. We're going full RPG. We'll have, trolls in here and shit. I don't know. They could do that, because it depends on how far away they want to go with the situation.
Right. Do you think they'll really emphasize more, a little bit more on the combat, the traversals, countering and stuff like that? Because I know if there's one thing God of War did really well, with God of War and Salt, I think you played number 3, God of War 3, and you can tell that while they're very similar games in certain aspects, they've really departed quite a bit. I mean, from the graphics to the view to the fact that God of War 3 was a bit more over the top with the sort of crazy ass Ninja Gaiden kind of combos, whereas the God of War that we know now, the newer version, was very visceral. The way the combat was heavier, it wasn't as over. He wasn't jumping around, slinging shit all over the place, but it was heavy. So do you think that Assassin's Creed may borrow a little bit now from God of War, seeing how successful they've been, and implement that into this game?
Yeah,
for sure, man. I mean, God of War is the apex, right? At one game of the year, it has Norse mythology and stuff like that. So yeah, they'll take some stuff from it, but they also want to separate themselves from it. I know the guy that's the head over there on the project said that he's cool with people comparing it to God of War, but he's Norse mythology is pretty big, so it's not going to be the same. And at the same time, they know that some of the complaints, like you were saying, the hidden blade wasn't in this last one, and then it is there. It kind of looks awkward almost. If you're looking, the guy has 2 axes, and then the hidden blade is sticking out because they want to show it. They're like, hey guys, it's here. It almost looks like an extra finger in the picture, So
gotta finger you to death.
We're we have it here, guys. It's here, It's all right, I get it. But should be good, man.
Darko, what's up? Now, for me, I'm like I said, I'm going to keep my expectation a little bit tempered. Again, I was one of those people. I remember the first Assassin's Creed very vividly, because the original game, and even to a lot of extent the second game, those were pinnacle games on the last gen consoles. I mean, Assassin's Creed, there wasn't a lot of games out there like it at the time. Remember the first time going into the Animus and you play as Desmond, and you go back to that Templar era and stuff like that, and it felt very authentic. And of course, the game's improved a lot of ways, and in some ways they got away from So for me, like, I'm not this huge Assassin's Creed fan. I like them enough, and because this is Norse mythology, I'm tempted that I may pick it up. I don't know if it'll be a day one for me or if it'll be like wait till it goes on sale. But the open world aspect is kind of the point of the last two that sort of started losing me, because again, I get so sidetracked. I get off course. I like story, but then when the story starts to break off into a lot of side missions and stuff like that. But I did like the last two Assassin's Creed for the most part. So I'm thinking this one's going to, borrow what works from these Origins and Odyssey, bring it over to this one. It'll be interesting to see as well what they do with the graphics engines, and obviously this game has been pretty far into development. It's almost done, so which means it's basically built for this gen of consoles and not say made from scratch for the Series X or the PlayStation 5. So that always gets interesting. Yeah, the puzzles, right? But my biggest problem with any of these games, whether it is Call of Duty or it's Assassin's Creed that come out more or less on a yearly basis, is I feel that studios don't get to really make a franchise their own. They don't get to exercise their true talents or their ambitions because they're roped into, we can't make it too different. We can't also not implement enough new features, because it gets into that where people say, well, it's not different enough, or it's too much the same, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I mean? Like it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. But I find sometimes when you have great franchise, you let them simmer for a little bit. Like, and we're going to talk about one in a bit called Battlefield 6. And if you heard the news, we're going to talk about that in a bit. But I like it when they give these franchises a rest. They let teams actually push the hardware a little bit. They can go back to the drawing board, figure out what works, and like Assassin's Creed took a break after Syndicate, and it obviously worked because there was at least a year gap. And by the time we got back to Origins, it was like, it almost reinvented itself to a certain degree. You know what I mean? So I like it when franchises take a break. As much as I love Gears and I love Halo, like, I don't want those games to come out yearly. I really don't. And the same with Forza. I was super excited when they said they're giving Forza a freaking rest for 1 year at least, because it's like maybe Turn 10 can really make Forza 8 something special. Because honestly, Forza 7 from Forza 6 was a nice, graphics were a little better, but again, it's a racing game and they started to feel too similar. You know what I mean? So yeah. So for me, I might get it. Like I said, I like the era. I like the mythology. The trailer definitely give you a lot to be excited about. Now, if the new consoles ever get to that point where the game's graphics start to look like that trailer, then I don't care if the console costs me $1,000. I'm going to buy it.
I wonder if on the Series X they'll be able to have this at 4K 60 open world. I wonder.
That would be huge, and that'd
be cool, man.
That would be a seller right there. And I think that's what you're going to see. A lot of it is pushed at 4K 60, and based on the hardware that I think both of these consoles are running, I don't see no reason why the PS5 or the Xbox Series X wouldn't be able to achieve those goals. But again, it really depends on the game engine and how it's optimized for the new consoles. I'm not a real tech savvy guy, so if I'd be willing to drop money, that PS5 and Xbox Series X will both be able to hit those targets. At least I think so.
Real quick to piggyback off to your thoughts, I really think that the 2-year model for this game is the way to go. Because like you were saying, when you're popping a game out every year, not every franchise could do that. Like Call of Duty's been doing that, but they had like 3 teams at one point working on the game, so it kind of felt different. It's the same shit, but people it gets stagnated, right? You need to take a break. So I can't believe it's been 2 years since Odyssey came out, man. I feel like it was just yesterday, but I guess it's been 2 years when this game comes out. So they're putting that break in between. Plus, they're investing heavily in this game. I heard 15 studios worked on it. The same studio that worked on Black Flag worked on this game, and they're investing heavily in it because they want it to sell well, right? So I think it's going to be a great game, man. Honestly, I'm not the biggest Assassin's Creed guy. Like, to be honest, I'm not one of these like fanboys or whatever. Like I said, I got through, I don't know. I don't even know how far I went into Odyssey and I stopped. But this one, this is day one without a doubt, you know?
Well, Saltiest, will the new Assassin's Creed game run 4K 60? Well, you know what I would say is if the Xbox One X can run it at 4K 30, then if the fucking Assassin's Creed game doesn't run at 4K 60 on the Series X, then what the fuck are we even going to buy the console for? That's my question. If these guys can't hit those targets at this point, why are we even going to buy $500 or $600 PS5 or an Xbox Series X if that's they can't even hit that?
The engines for Ubisoft games are pretty taxing, so I don't know. It just depends on the optimization and what the developers decide to do, right? So I'm pretty sure it will hit 4K 60. I don't know about higher than that though.
The different. No, I mean that's fine. I don't, at this point, when almost everybody on the planet doesn't have an 8K TV and probably won't have one for another 10 years at the rate we're going, you know. Heck, I'll be even fine with every game running 1080 60, to be honest with you. But, you know, as long, you know, that's the thing. It's consistency. It's not about whether you hit targets. It's all about starting to get consistent, because nothing's worse than a game that looks great for fucking, you know, 1 minute at a time, and then you hit a patch where there's a couple explosions and everything starts to chug. Like, it kind of fucks you up. I don't know if it was you, Salty, was saying that one night you're playing a game, and I think it was you. I think you were telling me about it on the podcast, and the game would lag, and then it would cause you to like fucking fall or something, or maybe it was something else. But
no, I had real issues with Days Gone. So like you're driving by I think it was like the lakes, because I have the Slim, and the frames would just tank, man. And then when it goes down that bad, like it stutters and stuff like that, it does cause you to wreck or crash or die. It's just they're trying to push the graphics. Like, just think about how shitty the base PlayStation and Xbox One fat, like the CPUs on those, plus the GPUs, right? 1.8, I think it was on the PlayStation. Yeah. So they're able to put out those kind of graphics on that system. They're pushing it to the limit, right? So they have to make sacrifices, obviously, with the frame rate, and then just some of these games are just. These systems can't handle it, man.
I'm hearing that the ray tracing lighting is very taxing, and that's going to be interesting.
It is, man.
But we've seen the improvement. We've seen how much ray tracing can actually make Minecraft of all fucking games, like, blow my mind. I don't know if you guys saw the pictures recently of Minecraft with ray tracing and without it, and it's like, holy shit, it's almost two different games. It's just crazy. I know Minecraft is a weird example, but you know, if you can make that fucking game actually impressive, is like, damn.
So if I just looked it up because I was curious, the recommended for 4K 30 frames per second for Odyssey is a Intel i7 7700, and then an AMD Ryzen 1700X, 16 gigs of RAM, graphics card. They recommend a Vega 64 or a GTX 1080. And obviously, what's going to be in the Series X is going to be way better than that. So, yeah, I think you're going to be hitting 4K 60, no problem, dude.
Yeah, if there's any games, I think, overall, for the new consoles that may show struggles, it would be the open world, where they have to rely on a lot of intensive, not so much the GPU, but the CPU to bring, again, your draw distance, your frame rate, stuff, you know what I mean? Like, so the games don't look foggy, they run smooth, because you're looking all up graphic, like the when you're approaching a new area, everything's technically loading in on the fly, right? So and
the SSDs will help with those open world games too.
Yeah.
So
remember how bad like 32-bit error games were back in the day, when like everything would literally draw in front of you, everything would be invisible, and all of a sudden stuff started popping up? Remember that?
Yep.
Oh yeah,
the fog they put in there to hide shit because it can't render. That's the one thing in God of War that's annoying as fuck, is like the amount of fog. It's like someone had a fog machine in it, like malfunctioned and went everywhere, dude. Like, cut it with the fog. I'm tired of seeing this shit, you know? So,
or like a lot of games too, they hide stuff in really dark environments, so you can't think it looks good, but everything's so dark that you can't really pick out the flaws as much. And I think some of it's by design, some of it's actually just to cover up those inadequacies of the game design itself. But we're going to get into one more topic, and then we're going to get Primal's question tonight just before she might have to take off. So she's here as long as she can stay. But next topic, we're talking about game delays. Interesting enough, kind of segueing off of that is, well, I'm just going to quickly put out there that apparently WWE 2K 21. That one's been postponed, and apparently there's another studio bringing out an arcade game. It's called WWE. What the fuck is it? But I applaud them for at least giving the series a rest and trying to bring out another game that's going to be a little bit more like easy to pick up and play and more fun, because the WWE, as much as I love WWE stuff, like that series to me was just going nowhere, and I'm glad to see that they're going to give visual concepts like the time now to actually sit down and fucking rework it and make it better, because that game's been struggling. So good on them. And other games, Battlefield was just announced that Battlefield 6 will not be coming out this year. It's been postponed into next year, 2021. And you know, if there's any franchise that probably could use a little bit of a break and come back bigger and better, would be Battlefield. I don't know if you guys agree with me, but
or which game needs more time.
Yeah, so you know, because Battlefield was coming on strong for a while, and then after Battlefield 1, I don't know, like just something fell off the wagon. Call of Duty's kind of Call of Duty never fell off the wagon, but they've really resurged with the new Modern Warfare and this new Warzone. Like, people are back into this series big time, like I haven't seen before. So big shout out JD Gamers in the chat, and he drops $2 in the super chat. He says, I love Norse mythology. Who remembers Too Human? Yes, that was a cool game back on the 360. 2K Battlegrounds. Thanks, Wild Bates. He's got it in the chat there. So what do you guys think? I'll start with the guests in this one. Salty, Battlefield taking a little bit break and coming back. What do you even think Battlefield 6 is going to be? Because they haven't said what setting it's going to be set in. So give us your take on this.
I can bet the house and the farm it's going to be a modern day game, dude. It has to be, right? The wheels fell off of Battlefield because they just doubled down on that old school feel for the. Plus, it was like the maps. They had all kinds of issues there, marketing issues. It just the wheels fell off of it. So yeah, that franchise definitely need to take a break and reevaluate their direction. But where Battlefield succeeds is that modern day combat, huge open world, tanks, planes, like you know, Mooch makes fun of it, planes falling on his head in Battlefield, but like the cool thing about Battlefield is like those big maps, you know, capturing zones and like the amount of people they can have on the screen. They need to double down on that with modern combat, modern weapons, and just go ham, dude. Like if they do that, it's going to be awesome, because they're releasing this on modern day, you know, next gen consoles. Could imagine what they can do there, like the amount of players they can have on the screen. Because Call of Duty with Warzone, they put 150 players on there. So if the new Battlefield, hell, put 300 people on there, have a massive, you know, open world battle, have tanks everywhere, planes and shit, and everything's going crazy. Have modern combat, and you'll have a winner. They're having DICE focus on that. Because they were working on Battlefront 2 content. They were updating that for years, but they're done with that. So their sole focus is this game and getting it right. And I think it's the right move for them to wait and get this, you know, where it should be.
What's up to the chat? We got Jay Slayer. Jay, what's happening, bro? Darko is here with us as well. Infinite, how's it going, man? Thanks for stopping by. Sathius, Dreadpool, Blue Moon FC, thanks for being here, guys. Greatly appreciated. Primal, what is your take on the delay of Battlefield 6? A good thing, and what sort of game do you think we might expect next?
I'm actually, I agree with Salty that it needs to be something more modern. Even myself, I'm a little... I'm over with the old stuff. I'm over with World War II. I'm over. I need something fresh, and Battlefield needs that something fresh too. Because if they keep on doing the same thing over and over again, I just see them going downhill. I'm okay with any game taking extra time. Do whatever you need to do, be it for this virus, or they were probably going to take some time off anyway, because that's what they do. Well, that's what they should do more often. Is what I think with any type of EA game. But yeah, I hope that we get something more fresh, and I'll be all for it if it is something new.
Nice. Infinite drops $4.99 in a super chat. He says, no more moving noof. Make for a long night at work when I'm not tuning in. Well, glad you could be here, Infinite, man. And yeah, I'm done with moving. Moving's a bitch. It really is. I still got so much stuff to do here, but I'm just glad to be settled away, and hopefully things get back to normal soon. You know, my take on it is, like one of Battlefield's strengths is actually its weakness too. Like Battlefield has always been known for having the bigger battlefields, bigger maps, more stuff happening. But DICE has definitely proven while the Frostbite engine's impressive, it's also very taxing. It seems to be it's a large engine to install. Even when you're doing the game installs, it's like fucking your maps and the games take up so much space. They're huge, and it's when destruction works well, it looks really cool. There's a lot of positives to have about Battlefield, and I think Battlefield also, if you get good people to play the game with you, it takes on a life of its own, because where Call of Duty's always been a little more lone wolf in nature, where you can get around and do things a little bit more with the running gun. Battlefield's not designed that way, and it never really was. You need a good team. When you got a great team of people to play with and communicate with, it really becomes a lot of fun. But I'm glad, yes, I think they're done with the World War era now, and if anything, I'd like to even see them do a fictional World War III. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
World War III, and something that they could do, and I probably won't, but would be kind of fun is if they made, in games you give you a character creator. Well, what if you could pick your country that you represent, and your country could represent the good guys for a change, and then you get to pick which country you kind of want to go to war with. Wouldn't that be kind of cool?
That'd be cool. Yeah.
And you go to war with these countries, and you basically pick, and then they switch out the NPCs to represent whatever military it is you're kind of fucking battling. The levels, or you could do DLC packs like that. You could have one focus, and then eventually you could buy DLC. So say I'm Canada, and I'm getting invaded by some countries.
I'm Canada.
I'm getting invaded by some country, and I'm fighting them off with fucking bathtubs and slingshots.
I like that idea, dude, because it kind of gives me a feeling of like Sid Meier's, but in a different aspect where you're actually like on the field versus controlling teams.
I feel bad because a lot of the games are made these days, especially shooters, are made in North America, and 9 chances out of 10, what do we always got? We got United States playing the good guy, and they're going to war with Russia, or they're going to war with Germany, or they're going to war with Afghanistan. It's the same thing. Like for anybody that plays games that are from those countries, you almost feel like, what the fuck? It's like, why can't other countries be more focused or things like that in there as well? And not dissing with States is the biggest, most powerful military country in the world. They're always at the forefront of everything, but, just more options, overall, and how people want to play these games, more diversity in the story. But I'm glad that, hopefully they go with, again, futuristic war, not futuristic, but like the here and now. Because I don't like it when you get too much ahead in the future and your guns don't feel like real guns anymore. They got like fucking lasers, and you got fucking drones, and you got all this weird shit. If I wanted to play future shooters, then I'd play Halo, right? Yeah. Something in space. But they definitely need to take a break. Hopefully they come back strong. And the main thing is for Battlefield, they got to have a strong launch. It means the game has to feel refined and good out of the gate. Because if there's one thing that has bothered, I think, the last 2 Battlefields to come out, is just the servers and the broken feeling and stuff like that a lot of those games have had. And for a lot of people, that opening week or 2, if it strikes the wrong nerve, some people just never come back. Yeah. So they got to get that right. They definitely got to give the team time to be ambitious and creative. And if they're building this, if this game already is being built on next gen hardware, that's exciting too. And I'm thinking it is, just because of the gap. They probably after Battlefield 5 was pretty much in the books, they said, let's get the next one ready and let's make it on the new hardware. Let's push the boundaries a little bit and come out swinging when the next Battlefield drops, because they need a big game, or this franchise could be in trucking trouble. We all good? Hey, Crispy Bomb is in the house. What's going on, Crispy? I would like a remake. Battlefield 4 is pretty damn cool, no doubt. I love Battlefield 3. I remember how good that game looked when it came out on the 360. Anybody else remember that when the first trailer dropped? Battlefield 3, my jaw was on the ground. I was like, holy shit, this is some crazy stuff, JD Gamer says, drops $5 in the super chat. It's a great idea. New if we should be able to pick, and some developers listening to this and is going to make this game, but I wonder if you'll get the credit. No, don't deserve any credit. I just would like to see developers try a few new things, especially when it comes to shooters, because a lot of them are very stagnant on using the same old ideas over and over. Let's get to Primal's question of the night because she may have to take off soon. It's up to her how long she can stay. So Primal, you want to drop your question of the week?
Yes, I actually finally get to ask one, and I'm leaving on purpose tonight too.
Yeah,
so, I'm curious, like what I have quite a few myself, but what are like the biggest video game accomplishments that you guys have ever made? Like, was there a moment that you were like, "Fuck yeah, I finally did it," or anything like that?
Great question. I have a feeling Salty's got quite a few. Dude's been completing games left, right, and center. I don't know if you want to take a go at this one in the chat. You guys are welcome to jump into with your greatest gaming accomplishment.
All right, so it's definitely got to be Cuphead, man. That, like, I have to go back to that. Like, beating that game and not breaking something was an accomplishment in itself. But you know, that game is just tough. You know, I don't know what the percentage is of people beating it, but man, I felt like when that achievement popped, when I beat the devil or whatever, like I actually felt like, wow, I can't believe I beat that, because you got to go through this like casino thing at the end. You have to roll the dice. You have to fight a whole bunch of bosses. Then you fight the boss, and that everything leading up to that is just ball breaking when it comes to like difficulty if you're going to play it on normal. So yeah, that game, and then the final boss on Sekiro. That game was the final boss for that was just, it took me days to beat that shit. Like days, hours on end, I was trying to fight the boss, failing. You can't summon anybody, you can't rely on anybody else. It's just you in the game, and like you have to learn his move, and that's the like by far the hardest boss I ever fought in a video game. So beating that game, not necessarily the whole game, because I feel like the earlier parts for a seasoned Dark Souls player is pretty fine. It's all right. I wouldn't say it's easy. That last boss, man, I'm telling you, it's crazy. So yeah, those two games, I would say.
Nice. In the chat, let's get to the chat real quick first. We got Amphited who says getting a GM Tamer back in late 99 on Ultima Online. Crispy Bomb has a good one because people that have that achievement had to work really hard to get it. Seriously 3.0 from Gears. That is getting like something like some insane, crazy ass like kills. I don't know, like 10,000 or 20,000 kills. Primal probably knows because she's big on those too. So, yeah, so good. Timothy Dixon hit 100,000 gamer score a couple of weeks ago. Hit it on the head and didn't want to do anything for a couple of days just to keep it there. So that's always pretty good, is to see those gamer scores hit those 6-digit figures. So that's pretty cool shit. Black Flag, I sunk the ship, says Blue Moon FC. Primal, how about yours?
I have a few. Beating the Water Temple in Ocarina of Time was like a great moment for me. I don't know why. I think it took me like the longest time to do it, and I don't know why I was so happy, because I think at one point I did do the glitch where I think if you flip the switch in the wrong order, it fucks up your game for good, and I believe I did that, and I had to start over. Another one would be Gears of War 2, my Seriously 2.0 achievement. That was getting 100,000 kills, and I did it all through multiplayer. I did not do the level where you can just mow down a bunch of locusts. And then beating Sephiroth in Kingdom Hearts 1 was a fantastic achievement. He's probably one of the hardest bosses I've ever played in any game. I could go on and on. Each game has had its little moment, but those three kind of stick out for me right now.
Nice. Nothing's really sticking out to me, but I guess anytime that I actually like a game enough to go and beat it, whether it's on, and like 90% of the time I play all my games usually starting on normal difficulty. If the game seems really walking the park, I'll change it up to hard. Maybe hardcore or something like that. But generally, anytime I beat a game these days, I feel a sense of accomplishment just because the backlog is so big and trying to find enough time to get there. And I'm closing in on the 100,000 gamer score. It seems like it's taken freaking forever, but I'm getting there. Another couple of months. Hopefully, I get that. If I was like some of the guys on my Xbox Live achievement stuff, I'd have it done in 3 days. Like we're like 4 days into the month, and there's guys with multi-thousand scores. It's like holy shit. But yeah, so I'm sure if I went back and really with the fine-tooth comb, I can find some pretty cool accomplishments, but nothing's really sticking out at me at the moment. But yeah, so it's all good. And like I said, anytime I beat a game, it's an accomplishment. And I feel good about it. And from a YouTubing perspective, I suppose, which is kind of gaming, is I still say the coolest moment I've had yet from being a YouTuber was playing a game one time, a multiplayer game, and having somebody come in. I was playing a game and they saw my gamer tag and they went, "Holy shit, we're playing a game with Noof Nukem." And they were getting like all excited because they were playing a game with me, and it was the first time, I guess, doing this whole shit that you felt a little bit like, wow, that's pretty cool. When some random people basically recognize you from your YouTube exploits and stuff like that, that was kind of a cool feeling. It's not really a game accomplishment, but I feel a little bit accomplished when something like that happens. So.
No, I had that happen like in I forgot what game it was, a multiplayer lobby, and they messaged me and they're like, "Are you the Saltiest Gaming from YouTube?" I was like, "Yeah, pretty much. That's it."
That's pretty cool, right?
I've got a couple of those. I got a couple of, "Hey, are you that Primal Eve on Noof's channel?" I've got a couple of those. Like, yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, so I was like, I think I recognize you. You were in that porn movie a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that happened.
Hey, failed pyromancers in the chat. What's going on, failed? Glad you could be here, brother.
All right, so
yes, Final Fantasy is awesome.
I am going to take off here, guys, because I can feel my eyes getting a little heavy, and I got to get up and do some work bullshit. Hopefully, it's just for this Tuesday and not, or this Wednesday and not next week too. But just want a quick thank you, Salty, for coming on here and hanging out for a little bit. I hope to do a full episode with you and actually maybe play a game with you.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. At some point. It's been like 2 years now, but it'll happen. And then thank you guys for tuning in and listening and stuff. But I will be back next week. I haven't been on Twitter that much, but I should be coming back. I just needed to take a break from it. So hopefully I'll see all of you guys soon.
Well, it's probably you take care, get some rest, stay safe, and we'll definitely look forward to seeing you again next week.
Absolutely. All right. Have a good night, guys.
Good night.
All right, so we're down to me and Salt to carry on the rest of the show. What's going on? Philly Eagle is in the chat. What's happening, brother? Thanks for being here. I only chase Chivos on BioWare games. Other games, I just get what I get from playing. That's pretty much how I do most of the time. I don't know, I don't have enough time to chase around a lot of these platinums and stuff. Like, it's great if you got the time, and you got more not even the time, is like the ambition or the willpower, I guess, to go and do it. Because some of the games are pretty straightforward, but there's other games that they really have trophies and achievements that you gotta work like a bitch to get them. You know what I mean? Like, it's a game in itself to get some of those. And when the payoff seems fucking shitty too, like, oh, like I gotta go get this to get a measly like 20 gamer score or something. You know what I mean? Like, when you got a big one, you're kind of like, okay, 100 G or something. You're like, okay, but I'm going to do all this work to get like a measly, like, fuck it. I'll give you a prime example. Sea of fucking Thieves.
Oh yeah.
Fucking achievements are a bitch.
Ridiculous.
You got to do like fucking 200 things or something, like the goal hunter, just to get a fucking 20 achievements. Anybody played Sea of Thieves knows how fucking long it takes to do like a mission to go in an island, get your treasures and bring it back. 200 of those, like, Jesus.
Yeah, I want to meet someone. I want to meet someone that 100%ed Sea of Thieves, man, because that is like the most brutal one. But when it comes to these achievements and gamer score and trophies and stuff, I could care less. Like, I know a lot of people do care about it, but when it gets tedious for me, like like a lot of these achievements do, that's where I draw the line, because I play games to have fun. So I don't want it to feel like a job. Oh, I got to do this or I got to do that. Because even when I was trying to get the platinum for Spider-Man, I had to do these side missions, and then you do it over and over and over. Like, you wait for like these, police things to go off, then you go do the same thing over and over. It got to the point where it was getting pretty damn repetitive. So I was like almost not going to do it. But if you like doing that, it's cool. I think I'm at like 83K gamer score on Xbox, and that's literally from not even trying. I don't even think I 100%ed any games, unless it was on accident on Xbox, so.
Now, I could deal with that one on Spider-Man. Spider-Man's such a fun game that, honestly, if you're going to platinum a lot of games from PlayStation, that would be one I could see myself actually chasing at some point, because all the missions are pretty fun in that game. Nothing seems overly tedious. The game is just a hoot to play, right?
Yeah, like that's how I'm gonna approach any of my platinums going forward. So like I have to really love the game and I really love playing it. So God of War is gonna be one that I want to platinum. Days Gone will be another one because I really love that game. And then it just I look at like the trophies list, and if it's not like super tedious, I'll probably try to do it. But if it's tedious as fuck, it's like no, I'm sorry. I got too many games in my backlog to worry about that, you know.
Totally. Here's on a lighter note for topics tonight. I don't know if you guys, obviously, one of the big hits on Netflix over the past couple of weeks has been the show Tiger King. Many of you have probably heard of it by now. There's so many memes out there. But the funniest one that I've heard recently, and this I guess is apparently true, that Nick Cage is set to play Joe Exotic from Tiger King in a new miniseries. And like you talk about some weird castings, that one's got to be right up there. Salty, have you seen Tiger King the show? And if so, what do you think of Nick Cage being cast as Joe Exotic?
Yeah, it's funny. I actually really got hooked into that show. It was kind of weird, man. I heard about I started seeing memes of the Tiger King, and I didn't understand what was going on because people put up a whole bunch of different memes and stuff. Yeah. And then I heard Tiger King this, Tiger King that, and I don't really watch TV much, you know, like it has to be really good. But I was super bored, so I put an episode on and I got hooked. And it's just it's a train wreck of to see these people in their lives and how scummy they all are. But Nick Cage,
it's hard to believe. It's hard to believe like that. There's places and people in the world like this.
Yeah, man. It's like. It's crazy because like all of them need to be in jail, to be honest. Like for the most part, like there's a very few people in that show shouldn't be in prison. But yeah, it's a train wreck and people like to watch that. But Nick Cage, man, like that dude is, I don't know. I used to like him back in the day when he was doing like The Rock or Face Off and stuff like that.
Yeah, there was a time when his career was more prominent than it is. Yeah.
I think he did a little bit too much coke or something, but he kind of fell off, and I think it's a perfect role for him. But it doesn't really. I don't understand how they're going to make this work, man. You're making a show based off of a reality show, like or whatever it was, like a documentary. Like, how is this shit's like? I don't know. I don't understand how it's going to even work. You know,
for me, I would have cast David Spade.
David Spade.
Put a mustache on him and have him do it. It probably would have worked. But Nick Cage, I don't know, just can't picture him with his way he talks and stuff. I don't know, it's just weird. I don't know who the fuck comes up with these casting calls, but they must say like, well, he's a former A-lister, I guess you could say. We'll get him for dirt cheap, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Crispy's like, yes, Noof, right? So yeah, can you imagine? David Spade probably could have fucking pulled. I know people can't probably see David Spade in a serious role, but you know what? A lot of comedians, if you give them that chance to actually, work their acting chops. Many of them can. It's not impossible. We have these preconceived notions of the mean comedians, and you just go, Brad Pitt is Joe Exotic. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different ones out there for sure that could play it. Nick Cage wouldn't have been my first pick, but whatever, So yeah. Anyway, that's on the lighter note, guys. If you haven't seen Tiger King, well, you're probably better off for it. But if you do want some interesting TV, I think it's only like 7 episodes or something. It'll blow your mind. There's some crazy shit going on there. Our next topic is we're going to skip over the IGN Summer of Gaming. I think we're going to move right down to the PlayStation Plus games for the month. Not a bad selection in my opinion, but I'll get your take, Salt. So if you guys didn't know, the PlayStation Plus games for May are The Evil Within 2, Rainbow Six Siege, and Get Even. Salt, have you played any of these games, and what do you think of PlayStation's offering this month? As Xbox definitely was a big miss, in my opinion.
Wasn't it Farming Simulator and some City Skylines? Is that what you said?
I think originally for PlayStation Plus, that's what they were promoting.
Is it? Yeah, because that's what I heard. So if those are the games.
Oh, this is actually from the place. This is sorry, hang on. Oh, hang on. I'm totally off because I'm not even read it. PlayStation Now. Newf needs to learn to read. It's the PlayStation Now offerings for the month.
Okay. Yeah. So the PlayStation Now offerings are awesome, but it's the problem of me having too big of a backlog with Game Pass and everything, right? Because PlayStation Now actually has some games I want to play. It has Control and now it has the Evil Within 2, right? I own Rainbow Six Siege, so I don't care about that. And I have a trial for PlayStation Now, so eventually I'm going to want to like take advantage of it. I want to play Control. I want to play the Evil Within 2. And that's the cool thing about these subscription services. You can try it, do a trial, or, you know, pay a little bit of money and then do it, play these games for cheaper than you have to buy them. So I think they're actually improving their library pretty significantly with like the backlog they have with the older games. That's just me personally. I don't know how everybody else feels about these games. Like the Evil Within, but 2, you have to be a fan of like, you know, scary games if you don't like that. But I think it's good, man. I think they're improving their offerings, right? Control's a good game, you know, so.
Yeah, I think the offerings for PlayStation Now are not bad. I have the Evil Within 2, beat it last year on Xbox. I picked it up just around Halloween last year, and it was a pretty damn good game. That sort of stuff, and definitely a little bit weird and trippy, you know what I mean? But it looked good and had pretty good play control and some funky stuff going on. You know, Rainbow Six Siege I never did play. When I found out that game wasn't going to have a campaign, I just avoided it like the plague, and I still never picked it up to this day. I'm almost like, because it's been out for so long now, I'm pretty sure most of the people keeping Rainbow Six going are probably like the diehards, which means I'll probably last like 3 seconds and get my ass fucking handed to me. Because that's how a lot of those games go. They, you know, the people that keep those servers running after a while are usually the hardcores, and you know, and then they play that fucking game so much, right? You get a lot of the MLG crowd playing that game, but it's not a bad lineup for PlayStation Plus anyway. So.
Yeah, Rainbow Six Siege is I don't know. I try to play with my friends and got wrecked. Like if you don't play that every day and know every peak corner, you just get destroyed in that game. So it's not my bag. Ew.
Yeah. Let's get into another topic here. Streets of Rage 4 finally dropped this past week after a long period of anticipation. Lots of screenshots of the game. It's finally out in the wild. I see lots of people playing it, at least on my Xbox Live list, which makes, you know, it's not surprising considering it is in Game Pass, so people could play it right away. So I don't know, Salt, have you had a chance to dive back into that nostalgia trip that is Streets of Rage 4? What do you think of it? And then you had a question based on that as well, so.
Yeah, Streets of Rage 4, I wasn't a Sega guy growing up. I was a Nintendo guy, so I never really played this game. I did play Double Dragon and stuff like that, but Streets of Rage, never really played it. I'm not sure why, because my cousin had the Sega, just never played it, but I did play it through Game Pass. I played co-op with my buddy Shameless, and it was fun, man. We had some issues a little bit with the online. He had to like reinstall his game, but it just has that nostalgic feel to it, you know, the beat 'em up feeling, and they hit the nail on the head with the feeling of an old school game with updated graphics. It's not like totally, you know what I'm saying? It's not ray shade, you know, there's not ray tracing going on, but
it's like a hand-drawn graphics.
Yeah. It feels good to play. Let's just put it that way, right? It I don't know. It reminds me of the Ninja Turtles game back in the day, back on the old consoles, and then like the X-Men arcade game. Just that feeling of playing a really good nostalgic game, and I think they did a really good job. And I think I think I asked this on TSGP or whatever, but I was wondering why a game like this can hit, you know, the nail on the head, and then Battletoads has kind of become a meme. You know, they should both be on the same plane when it comes to excitement level, because you know.
Well, with Battletoads, I think because we expected. Well, you look at how I think it's Rash when they put him in Killer Instinct, right, as a character. You saw how cool he looked, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, even the old games, they had a certain style. Even that arcade Battletoads, you know, had a certain style that looked really good. But then they went with this style, and it looks like those Nickelodeon cartoons. So it's like they dumbed it right down and made the character. You can't take them seriously. I think, like, I'm sure the game will probably play all right at the end of the day, but it's not like Battletoads have ever been at the popularity or hype that, say, the Ninja Turtles were. It's kind of, Battletoads has always been like the poor man's knockoff of Ninja Turtles. Tried to capture that same audience, but never had the same success. And if you can say it did, well, then where's all the Battletoads toys, T-shirts, cartoons, movies, etc.? You don't see them, right? Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So they tried to capture that same fame as Ninja Turtles. It never worked. I'm not saying Battletoads is not a bad game by any means. It's pretty cool. And again, they have a loyal following, but that art style that they went with just was weird. Like if they had done a 2D side scroller with the characters looking like Rash did in Killer Instinct in the new modern version, I think people would have been like, "Holy shit, this is awesome!" Right? You know, because we saw even like Raging Justice, which came out last year, I do believe, on the Switch, Xbox, and PlayStation, how that took board from Streets of Rage and Final Fight, but they did sort of like a semi-realistic 2D, 3D graphic aesthetic, and it looked really cool. But like Streets of Rage 4, man, it plays like butter, like the best controls I've ever had on the Streets of Rage game. Animation is fluid, the characters feel like authentic, but yet they're older, they're bigger, they're, you know, and they got new characters. Plus you can go in those little arcades inside the game itself, and you can, like, you do this thing and all of a sudden your character turns into the retro sprite based graphic. Like there's so many cool things. It's like a throwback and a homage to the old school fans, but it's a game that new people, if you've never played any of the Streets of Rage fans, you can pick up, jump right into, have a ton of fun with it. I mean, they got 2-player co-op online, which is awesome. A lot of these beat 'em ups these days don't have any online, so that's fantastic. Like Raging Justice doesn't have an online co-op, it's only couch. So you got 2-player online, you got 4-player couch. Like I said, you get the old school, the new school, some great levels. A lot of the enemies you recognize, but lots of new ones. The game it's fun. It's a fun romp. We need more games like it. It's good that, you know, some of these side-scrolling beat 'em ups are coming out. I'm really enjoying it. I'm not very far in it, but Streets of Rage 4 is a hit in my books.
It's true.
Yeah, so totally. Like Failed says, Battletoads doesn't look as appealing as Streets of Rage. You look like the Warner Brother Frog, right? Exactly. Like they made it look like, I don't know if you ever seen the latest Ninja Turtles cartoon. It's like a new reimagining, and they look terrible to me.
Looks great. Yeah, it's the same thing.
Like, ugh. Like sometimes art style.
You have 2 super chats, I believe.
Yeah, let's catch up with the super chats. JD Gamer says, how do you guys feel about Jeff Keighley being the face of gaming? Look at the way he left E3. Do you think he has too much power as he is an elitist? Well, let's answer that question. Salty?
Do I think Jeff Keighley has too much power? Man, I think he does have a lot of power and sway, and it's kind of interesting that he bounced out of E3 and the timing of it, and then he starts his own thing, right? The Summer of Gaming or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I think a lot of people in the industry were tired of the ESA anyway, so I don't know if it was just a Jeff Keighley situation, because I don't think all these publishers would have joined him for the event that they're putting on if they weren't tired of the same stuff as well. So I think he's just kind of the face right now when it comes to just gaming events, and I don't think he has too much power. That would be my answer.
Well, I think Jeff Keighley's the only guy with the balls big enough to at least put the industry at the front and center. And whether you love him or hate him, you got to respect the fact that at least the guy is a voice for the industry, because you look at fucking movie and TV fucking award shows and shows, they're like dime a dozen. There's like so many of them, and they get redundant, and you don't, you know, and they're so predictable. The gaming award show, like, you know, like people bitch about it, but we should also praise it and commend the guy, because there's not many we're seeing more and more platforms fall away. Like we've seen the gaming, for example, gaming magazines, right? They used to be really popular. Now you can barely find one on the shelf anywhere. Like I thought gaming is a how many billion-dollar industry, but yet they have no magazines to support it. Why is that? That's really weird. I know, magazines are, you're saying old school, but I see lots of fucking like other magazines out there for every other type of industry, arts and crafts and fucking grandma's underwear magazine. Yep. Like, you know what I mean? But you can't find a gaming fucking book. How fucking sad is that? I know with the internet, I know a lot of the magazines, that's the problem, because by the time they get their content, it's already kind of old news, right? And that's a big problem but you see other magazines still out there. So why is it gaming doesn't really exist? And then TV's just hardly any game shows. We don't see much promoting games, like in terms of everything's on podcasts now. It's not like you don't see a show dedicated like, hey, coming up this week on Xbox and blah, blah, blah. There was one up here in in Canada for a while, run by Victor Lucas. I don't know if you guys recognize the name, but he was running one Electronic Playground, and even that eventually just fell off. And now he just does them in a podcast form. So maybe this is our new avenue is podcasting, which makes sense. It's cheap, it's fast. Hey, Blue Moon, what's going on, man? Thanks for stopping by. But yeah, man, I like magazines. It's something tangible. I've always bought them, but but anyway, I'm getting off topic. But Jeff Key, like I said, at least he's a voice for the industry. He's putting it out there, and I applaud him for that. I don't always like some of his views, different things, but obviously he gains a lot of respect, as much as a lot of the Xbox crowd shit on him. I mean, obviously the Xbox team at Microsoft obviously respect him because they trust him with the various things, even still. So it is what it is. Summer gaming looks to be fun. Let's see how that pans out. Obviously, we don't have an formal E3 this year, so that's as good as it's going to get. So yeah. Yep. So let's hope that it is good.
JD with another one. He's talking about Battletoads. It's a good point.
Oh, let me see. What did JD Gamer have to say? JD says, speaking of Battletoads, do you think it disappeared from public site to be reworked and fixed to maybe take advantage of Streets of Rage appeal? That is a good point. Great question and a good possibility. Salt, do you think he might be on from here?
Yeah, I definitely think so because from what the chat's saying, it has to do with the art style, and I don't know how you go back and rework that without having to completely redo the game. Like, I don't know what the ins and outs of it is when it comes to these hand-drawn looking games, but if they felt like it was just going to be poorly received, go back to the drawing board. I know it's not coming out now till like 2021 or something like that. Or the rumor is out there for that, and they could see Streets of Rage. Like I said, you see these games like Streets of Rage dropping in Game Pass and seeing the amount of excitement there is in the community. And like I said, why can't Battletoads be like that? They can be like that. The same kind of excitement and the amount of people talking about it, it just wasn't there. So yeah. I mean, go back to the drawing board, redo it. It's kind of like the Sonic movie, right? Sonic movie came out. It was a meme. People were laughing at it based on the way Sonic looked. They went back to the drawing board, redesigned him, put out a new release date. And then what happened? It was the best-selling, I think, video game movie of all time. So,
Well, Philly Eagle in the chat, he says Battle is supposed to look cartoony. And I think everybody here in the chat and on the panel gets that. But did you have to make them look like 8-year-old kid cartoons? Do you know what I mean? Like let's look at the Sonic movie, for example. They butchered Sonic the Hedgehog in the original design. They went back to the drawing board based on the feedback of fans, and boy, did it ever turn out to be a damn good move, because nobody wanted to see that fucking movie after they saw the horrendous Sonic the Hedgehog design. I don't know who it was trying to appeal to when they designed it, but it obviously missed its mark. So they went back, they made Sonic actually look like fucking Sonic the Hedgehog, and the movie actually did very, very well. And there's already a sequel in the works. There you go. Now, the gaming's a little bit different because gaming is more coding. It's not as easy to go back and fix an entire freaking game as it is maybe to fix a character in a movie. Like, and I'm sure they're both very difficult, but gaming relies on once that shit's pretty much almost done, that's a lot of work to go back and redo something. You know what I mean? Because they're very different mediums. So, yeah, Dr. Dinglenut, what's happening, man? Thanks for stopping by the podcast. I like the name too, Dr. Dinglenut. That sounds funny. Yeah, remember when it was Ziff Davis? Ziff Davis used to run IGN at one point, and then it went to a bunch of different publishers. But yeah, no, like they could have made Battletoads at least look gritty, look cool, instead of looking dorky. That's what we're going for. Is they could have made, like I said, you look at Rash, you look at how awesome he looks in the Killer Instinct game as a DLC character, and then you look at him now and they look funky. Again, they're like that new Turtles design. Like Streets of Rage could have made the characters look funny, but they actually made them look cool. They actually improved on their old designs and stuff, and made the game fucking look badass. And there's been a lot of cartoon games, even that the new fucking Shaq Fu game that came out last year. I mean, the old game was pretty bad back in the Super Nintendo era, but the new game is actually a lot of fun, and the art style actually looks pretty good. You know what I mean? So sometimes the artwork works for a game, sometimes it doesn't. I think Pyromancer mentioned that like the new Thundercats cartoon looks pretty bad. Like if my saying goes, and I think a lot of you guys will agree, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So don't, you know, just improve your designs. Don't redo them. I don't know.
It's not, I don't know. It's not easy to take something that's old and then do it new. Cause I was in this testing group. I got paid to sit around at this table and talk about Ninja Turtles. Cause I guess it's the company that they want to make a new one. So they had all these, you know, poster boards and questions of, hey, why do you like Ninja Turtles? And they show us the old ones and then show us the new cartoon like you were talking about and say what we like and what we don't like. Sometimes these people think that something's going to work and then the audience totally rejects it and hates it, right? The Michael Bay Ninja Turtle movies weren't that well received. And it's just sometimes the direction is just not the way the public wants it. And sometimes you can go back and fix it and sometimes you can't, you know, so.
Yeah, it's taking a premise and staying true to the principle, staying true to the design, but yet trying to appease your old fans. And that's the hardest thing, is walking that line between your old fans who, I mean, we've seen the reinvention of Spider-Man 3 times in 3 different movie franchises in the last 20 years. You know, from Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, and you saw Andrew Garfield, and now the new one with what's his name in it there. You know, and everybody has their favorite. For me, I personally still like the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans, the Sam Raimi versions, but that's just me. But yet the character feels different in design. Same thing with Batman. We see every time there's a Batman movie, he seems to be reinvented. Some people love one, some people hate the other, blah, blah, blah. And I guess this is going to go on to the ending of time. But yeah, like I love those old Ninja Turtle movies from the 90s. Those are so good back in the day. I know you're a little cheesy and campy now, but I still have fun when I go back and watch them. Reminds me when I was a kid, right? So yeah, but it is what it is. So I think your question was what other game you would like to see like Streets of Rage 4. If anybody in the chat wants to drop on, what would be yours, Salt?
I don't know, man. Mine's kind of weird, but Space Invaders, if they could find a way to like update that and make it fun, like it'd be a cheap game. Obviously, it wouldn't be like a AAA like blockbuster. But I like playing Space Invaders back in the day on my dad's PC. I had some good times with that. Maybe they could do something cool with it. That would be mine. Honestly, it's kind of a weird answer, but that's mine, man.
You know, I'd love to see, personally, I'd like to see a new Shinobi game with hand-drawn art style. And a great 2D side scroller, great platforming, great action, but make it like Streets of Rage and do it with a great, fantastic art style and make a new Shinobi. I love ninja games. I love fast action games like that. And Shinobi's been always one of my favorite, and I'd be totally down for something like that, even if it is 2D or like semi 2D. You know what I mean? But go with a new Shinobi from Sega. I'd totally be down with that.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
lots of possibilities out there, and if they do it right, you can see that the popularity is out there, and especially like with a service like Game Pass, that's like the perfect service to drop some of these games in there. You know,
totally. Yeah. Well, everybody, that brings us to the end of the show. We're an hour and a half in. We've gotten through pretty much all the topics. Can't wait to see how things are going to unfold throughout the rest of the week and come back to chat about that. So I'm going to get at her. Obviously, you guys know where to find Primal Eve. Find her on Twitter at Primal Eve. Hook her up. Go check out her channel. I know she hasn't done a lot of content, but show her some love and support. And we hope that she'll be back next week for the full show. And a big thank you tonight to my special guest, my friend, Awesome Gamer, guys. Great content on his channel. Go check him out. He'll let you know where, as Mr. Saltiest Gaming.
Yeah, thanks for having me on again. If you guys can follow me on Twitter, Saltiest Gaming, the eyes of one, twitch.tv/Saltiest Gaming. I do live streams of my playthroughs there. And then Saltiest Gaming, 2 words. I just dropped the video today about a new feature for the PlayStation 5 that's rumored out there. So thanks for having me on again, and stay safe, everybody. All this craziness, and have fun gaming.
You're always welcome. Glad that you're liking the Death Stranding game, Pyro, man. Like I said, to each their own. I know a lot of people were shocked. Some people didn't like it. I was not a big fan, but it is what it is. I can totally get why people like it. It just wasn't my cup of tea, but glad people are. It's dirt cheap to get to Death Stranding now. So if you're riding the fence, go check it out. At least give it an honest effort and make your own opinions of it. I know Salty played it and actually enjoyed it, even though he didn't think he would at first. So, I never rain on people's parades for what they like, man. If you like something, it makes you happy. go to it. That's all I can say. Like I said, I played the shit out of that Deliver Us the Moon the other day, and I'm pretty sure I can tell you that some people will play it and hate it, but I actually love the game. Even with all of its puzzles and stuff, and the fact that there's virtually no enemies or any action in the game per se. It's like a space sci-fi thing. So yeah, but yeah, the show goes by real quick. Matt Burns, thanks for being here, guys. Everybody, I hope I gave everybody a shout out tonight. You guys are important. You're make sure you hit that like button, share it out, all that stuff. We'll see you back here same time, same place. Jay Slayer, Jago, the whole works, guys. Spider-Man, Timothy Dixon, all you guys, man, are regulars or new people. Anyone who's new to the show, just finally checking it out tonight, guys. Appreciate you stopping by. Hopefully you'll come back and share the word. I'd love to see this show get at least 100 viewers someday. That'd be fantastic. Haven't gotten there yet, not even close, but it's attainable, right? One step at a time.
Yes, sir.
Philly Eagle, Avish, Dreadpool, Pyromancer. Catch you guys all in the next one. And you know where to find me, guys. Noof Nukem, always in the gutter. Boom, boom, kaboom. Leaving the room. See me on Twitter, PlayStation. I'm Noof Nukem 76. Xbox, it's Noof Nukem. We'll hope to play some games. Catch you all soon. See you on the next one. Awesome.